Box with Marianne's Cupboards, and today we're going to do a class on how to make a cardboard box oven. Now you might wonder, why would I want a cardboard box oven? Well, in case your electricity goes off, or if you're camping or doing things outdoors, this is an excellent replacement for the oven that you have in your home. It will bake in the same amount of time, and it will bake all the things that you do in your regular oven. You can make cakes, cookies, muffins, a roast, bread, anything that you want to make in a cardboard box oven with very little charcoal and for very inexpensive. The kind of things that you will need are a cardboard box, and preferably one that has a lid. The lid has already been cut off the top of this one because we're going to use it for the base for our heat source. You'll need foil. Heavy duty foil is best because it will last longer and doesn't tend to tear, but just your regular household foil will do just as well. You'll need an oven bag so that you have a window to be able to see when your product is done and how it's cooking. And you'll need duct tape to fasten the foil to the box. The only tools you're going to need are a pair of scissors and a knife to cut the box. So very inexpensive, very quick and easy to make. Now I've already made my box. I have had this one for about 15 years, and as you can see, it's still in pretty good shape after that length of time. So we're first of all going to talk about just making the outside box, and then we'll talk about the inside racks and things that you will need there. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is prepare the box itself, which is actually your oven, just like your range would be, or your toaster oven, or your microwave. So the first thing we do is we're going to take the flaps off of one side, and I've already done that, and they're going to be used to support your charcoal on the bottom. So we'll set those aside. Then we'll take our knife and we'll cut down the side on each of the corners so that we have a flap. And that becomes our door so that you can open it to slide your food in. The next step is to cut out your window. Now you can cut a window in the door, just like your oven has, or you can cut a window in the top. I've actually cut my window in the top because it has a little bit more support and the sides won't break down as easy and have your door collapse. So once we've got that cut, then we're going to line the inside of the oven. We're going to take one piece of foil, and we can use either household foil or heavy duty foil. The heavy duty foil will last longer, but this works just as well. So whatever you have on hand, just to make it the least expensive, you can use. We're going to take the foil and we're going to start on the outside of the box, roll it down to the inside, across, up, and over the back, so that we have an edge over here that we can fold the foil against. Then we're going to take another piece of foil and run it from the back over the flap of the box and fold it around the edges of the flap and around the edges of the back of the box. So now we have all of the foil in place, and we're going to take our duct tape then and run it right along the edge all the way around the box so that every edge is covered with duct tape. Then at that point in time, you don't have a window here, you still have foil in this hole here. So you're going to want to take your knife and run it along the edge of that hole and cut out your foil so that your window can work. Okay, so that's basically the oven except for the window. So we're going to cut out a piece of the oven bag, the size of square that we need to make our window, and we're going to put it on the top of our box on the outside, and then take our duct tape and frame it on all four sides so that it's in place. You don't have to worry about getting the duct tape inside. If you can, if you want to, so that you actually seal the foil in the window. Mine is not. You can see it just kind of opens up right there, but you could duct tape that around there as well, because nothing's going to burn, even if you don't put foil in it. The reason for putting the foil in is to have more reflective heat, like in a reflector oven. You can actually just take a box and put a box over the top of whatever you're cooking, and it's going to cook. Just the window and the foil just make it a little fancier and a little easier to use. So that's all there is to making that actual oven. Then we need to take care of the heat source. So we're going to take the two flaps that we had from the top of the box, and we're going to cover them with foil and duct tape those together so the foil doesn't come off. And they're going to become the base for our heat source. That'll protect whatever you're setting it on. Now, because you're using charcoal, this is going to get really hot. It will not burn, but it could burn through in terms of heating or discoloring your surface. So you'll want to do it on concrete, you'll want to do it on cinder blocks or on stepping stones, something that's not going to damage whatever surface you're going to have. So the next thing, we take our cookie sheet and we set it on top of our lid for our box. And this is where the charcoal is. You can see that mine's been used quite a bit because it's discolored. The cookie sheet size is really important because it has to fit inside the box. So make sure that you have a cookie sheet that fits. If you have a bigger cookie sheet, then you'll need a bigger box. But don't get it too big, because the larger the box, the more heat it's going to take to keep that at a baking temperature. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take two 2x4s and cut them so that they fit inside that cookie sheet, because this is what we're going to put our tray on to hold whatever we're cooking. As you can see, it does get discolored with use, even with foil on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 layers of foil and cover this. And you notice I haven't duct taped these, but you could duct tape them just to hold the foil on. But I'm just going to take the foil, and I'm going to take 2 pieces, and I want the reflective edge on the outside so it maximizes it. And I'm going to wrap this just like a package. Fold the corners. Both sides. Okay, and then I'm going to wrap it just the opposite way, so I've got 2 layers of foil on here to protect it as much as possible. You could put, if you don't want, if you're worried about it, the heating through or getting too hot, then you could put more on, but I've had just 2 on here for a long period of time. So this is our supports for our rack, and then we put our baking rack right on top. And again, your baking rack has to be the size of your cookie sheet or a little smaller. And you'll want to use 2x4s because you want to have some air space in here. You don't want this really close. Then, when we're ready to cook, what we're going to do is we're going to take our charcoal and put it in the middle of our pan and light it, wait for it to get hot and make holes, and then we're going to put our boards in place, our rack on it, put our food on there that we want to cook, and then set our oven over the top of it. Now, you need to leave a little bit of a space there so that the air can circulate and keep the coals burning, because charcoal will go out if it doesn't have any oxygen. So you can just take and let it be an open flap and then just set something in it so that you have about a 1-inch space right there. You could use duct tape. You could actually get fancier and attach velcro to the corner of your box to do that with. Now, you might have noticed with my charcoal that it's in a bag. course, you're not going to cook it with it that way. But in order to preserve your charcoal, I take about as much as I would need to bake one item in my oven and put it in a food saver bag and suck all of the air out so it's vacuum packed. That way your charcoal will not deteriorate and you have basically one application for your oven. There are 25 bricks in here. Each brick gives me 25 degrees of heat. So I have a few extras so that if I want 350 degree heat, I would put that many pieces of charcoal here. And then if my temperature starts to drop, I'd still have some ready to go that I could slide in as my item is baking if it takes, a long time to do that. Anything that you bake in this little oven will bake in about the same amount of time as what you did in your conventional range. You just have to make sure that your heat hasn't, your coals haven't dissolved and lost their heat. One way to do that and make sure that your heat is correct is to use a thermometer. I have two different kinds here. This is a regular oven thermometer, and you can take and set this on the rack. It does take up a little bit more space, and so your cooking surface might not be as large as you want it. So what I use is a prawn thermometer, and I just poked a hole in the top of my box, and so the prawn goes down in, and I can look right here, and it's just like having the gauge on your stove. My favorite thing about the cardboard box oven is everything fits together for storage. So I can take my flaps and put them in the bottom. That also protects the window so that it doesn't get torn. My cookie sheet, my rack, my supports for my shelf, and my charcoal. Everything fits in the box and it's ready to go. But I can also put my other alternative cooking appliances in here as well. On our website we have a video on how to make a tin can stove, which is your stovetop cooker, and it will fit in there. And my thermometers and my charcoal, everything is there. Then I also, for my lid, I can use my reflector oven, which we also have a video on and available for you to look at. And that becomes the lid to my cardboard oven. Then all I do is take a bungee cord, hook it around my box, and it's ready to put away. So that's all there is to baking with a cardboard box oven. If you would like to make one and need some help and learn how to bake on it, we have make and take classes that you can take. Just go to our website, maryannscupboards.com, and schedule a class or attend a class for you or for a large group of people, whichever you want to do. So hope you have fun with this and come join us.